in suspect circumstances, with the unstated implication being that Bill Clinton or his henchmen were behind it each time. We shouldn't have to tell anyone not to believe this claptrap, but we will anyway, in a frenzied media climate where the chief executive couldn't boff off a White House intern without the whole world finding out every niggling detail of each. They say niggling. I don't know.
They
say that. Well, they get to that. So, a person with that social circle, it's just going to increase the chances of how many people do die over time.
That's true. And there's the thing I was going to say. This is just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, it's the tinfoil hat thing.
For,
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean
It's a conspiracy theory based upon Hillary Clinton murdering people.
Well,
Yes.
also Bill, so them together, or the Clinton Foundation.
Honestly,
in
I've
general.
always put more value on Hillary. I've always felt like she was the.
I feel like
She
she's
was, She had 8 years in office already, man.
Clinton was kind of the face.
Well, to be fair,
Or Bill,
I saw this documentary about Hillary when she first got into the political field. And there was this real bad dude, I forget what his name was, but he was pretty much teaching her these mafia techniques as far as how you lie, how you steal, how you cheat, how you extort. And she learned the cream of the crop. And
she learned the best.
Yep.
Do you know the guy's name?
I really don't.
Okay.
I wish I remembered.
But that doesn't surprise me one bit, to be honest.
Really?
Well,
It doesn't, because
he wouldn't want to be known.
Well, you look at her tactics, and here's the thing: my family.
Your family
Go on.
what?
Sorry, my family. A big part of it's from Houston.
Mm-hmm.
My great grandfather was a detective in Galveston.
Okay.
In the 30s.
Okay.
So he saw a lot of that. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that aren't from Texas that Galveston used to be the Vegas of the South.
Hey, Clay, we're live.
Hey, let me have a beer real quick.
Welcome to the show.
Hey,
What's Thanks for the heads up.
Just wanted to catch you off guard.
But my great grandfather, he used to talk about that kind of stuff. I didn't remember a lot of it, but my grandfather used to say that he's a car salesman. He sold cars for 40 years, and he said he learned that from the buddies that his dad had.
Right.
And I would like to say that my great grandfather was a clean cut, but it didn't sound like it.
There seems to be a huge concept with people that are in power or get control. They have these psychopathic mentalities. They have these kind of, it's almost like it's built into their DNA. And if it's not built into their DNA,
Didn't they actually have? Sorry, didn't they have like a? It was an experiment in a college about that. They simulated a prison experience, so they had people being the guards, and then they had the prisoners.
Yeah.
And they noticed over time that the people who were the guards started to become more corrupt and more abusive.
Once you start having power, anytime you start getting the taste of power, now there's a psychological process to this. Everything that we do as human beings, we're just made up of this biochemistry. We have all these little chemicals that are running through our brains and through our bodies. And when we start doing things that like are power or things that we're in control of, all of a sudden we get this huge dopamine. And it's like, ooh, this feels good. This is nice.
It's kind of like a god complex, but like a rush of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's the 8 part of our brains. That's the alpha mentality. It's beneficial to your personal abilities.
Selfish.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
selfishness is somewhat inherent to
Well,
being able to live.
Self-preservation,
Yeah,
right?
and so, but yeah, I mean, it's always that old phrase: absolute power corrupts absolutely, that kind of thing. But where do you help stop that? Because everybody, there has to be levels of power. I mean, Jordan Peterson talks about how every level of human society is a power dynamic.
Right.
The social hierarchy.
Yeah, and there's some truth to that. I don't necessarily believe in that because I think that takes away some of human volition of trying to be better than you are.
So you've got a list.
I do.
You've got a list of, so it's a trail of murders. And
maybe.
And people think it's from Hillary or Bill. How can they
I'd say
distinguish?
both.
They say the Clintons in general.
The Clintons.
I personally, and again, this is my personal feelings on it, to put that my own biases in the way. I've always felt that Hillary was probably more of the person who ran those things than Clinton. I mean, Bill Clinton.
Without a doubt, I think she actually ran his presidency. To be honest,
She already had 8 years.
Oh, are you talking about like the campaign?
Yeah, well, like when he was in office, I think that she was behind the scenes on everything, every decision he ever made.
So he was kind of there for the ride, or he was just like kind of the poster child while
he's the
she
dick
like
who was
worked the
president.
strings.
Yeah, well, look how bossy she is, and look at him. I mean,
Yeah, I think he has a higher approval rating for sure than she
Yeah.
ever will.
yeah, for sure.
Pre-housing bubble, but whatever.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, she did like that speech. I think it was at a football game. She dressed goth. Do you remember that?
No.
I don't.
This happened. So she had the eyeliner, the black dress, and everything. And this is her in a nutshell.
When did this happen?
Probably last year, right before the election.
Was she just pandering?
Well, that's exactly her
That's-
thing.
she was
She
just pandering.
panders to all the like
93
the
kids?
alternative groups, SJWs, things like that.
Okay.
But they haven't dressed like that in 15 years. She's a little bit behind the times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She was way too old. It was very insincere, in my opinion. But everyone ate that shit up.
Well, funnily to me, I saw a post online that honestly, this is going to seem really petty, that really put the nail in the coffin for me not liking her. She was trying to pour a beer on a draft system, and it was all foam. And I'm like, oh, I can't respect you now.
No.
You can't
No
pour a
way.
beer, sorry.
What?
Yeah, like, because, I mean, I don't know who here is
You
ever
can't
worked
trust
at a
anyone
bar.
that doesn't drink beer
Well,
properly.
she didn't do it right, and it looked bad.
Didn't even
No.
tilt the cup.
No, not at all.
What a loser.
Again, see, it goes back to that
And she looked so
Disingenuous,
happy. She was
yeah.
holding it up like all foam, and like, you're going to enjoy that foamy beer, aren't you?
Yeah. You're going to have a mustache.
It's probably beneath her, honestly.
So how many murders have there been so far?
Honestly, it's hard to say.
There is a
because,
fat list.
Accidental deaths, you mean?
suicide is the death.
Yeah.
Suicide.
A huge portion of them are suicides, and honestly, Tony here looked up Snopes earlier to kind of see the other end of things, and most people are saying like once you have a certain group of friends and you know a certain amount of people in certain areas of the world, the rate of people you know that are going to die is going to raise, of course.
Sure.
But how many people do you know that, I mean, this might be personal, committed suicide with gunshots out of everybody you've ever known?
I actually know a lot of people that committed
Just a
suicide through
quick
gunshot.
Fair enough, maybe
Wait,
a bad
hold on.
example.
Quick interruption. The answer to that question of how many people, the current number is at 47. Seth Rich being the latest.
That seems like a lot.
47
Yeah,
people.
47. Okay,
That
so
we know of.
there's not 47 people that I know that have died that
That's a good point.
said some bullshit.
Well, right, but how many
against me.
I don't know
People
many
do-
people, my friends and family that died under, I don't know more than 20 people, not even that, in my personal group of friends and family over 20-something years of living. I don't know that many.
No, I don't either.
And this is all during his time in basically an office and working in government. It's not just his whole life. It's just the time period he's been active in our political system.
Well, not only that, but what
It's
ties
like
them
the
all together?
90s. What?
The
What ties them
Clintons.
all together?
They went against the
Um,
Clintons.
So that's a little, you know.
Hey.
I also came up with Labradoodle. You have
Sorry,
So-
I don't know what the hell that was about. Sorry,
So,
go on.
so
Gotta exit out the
suicide.
porn, dude.
That was
Advertisement.
So gunshot wounds,
Hangings.
hanging.
Those are the main two, honestly. Those are the main ones that we've seen, and that's just the ones I've read.
Not
I didn't-
being hit by a car.
yeah,
not-
not dying of stroke.
Well, no,
One of them was
no
a heart
cutting.
attack.
Yeah, like you said, no.
No acid.
nothing like
the
that.
Russians, not doing that stuff.
There was very few poisonings in the grouping.
Poisonings.
Which honestly, poisoning has always been more of a Russian thing.
So almost
been,
Right, right.
overdosing.
But how many times can you do that before someone's like, yeah, no, they're
apparently
doing
47.
it? Wow.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not including the people in Benghazi. So that's actually 4 plus 47.
Wow.
Yeah, so 51.
So yeah, there's a lot of gunshot wounds right there.
And that's, I mean, the Seth Rich thing, and I talked to Austin about this before the podcast. I felt a little apprehensive discussing it because his family themselves said they felt uncomfortable with how his death was being used as a political talking point.
Okay.
But it's important. It's important for people to know this. And again, I looked at the other side against the Seth Rich thing, which I'll go into in a moment. That's saying, oh, there's no evidence supporting that it was anything politically motivated. WikiLeaks saying that he released information about the DNC and the Bernie stuff, supposedly.
Even though it was on September 11th.
Yeah, and also, by the way, WikiLeaks has not been reported to have a single false claim in their history in WikiLeaks. Nobody has
But it's
ever found a
possible,
single
right?
true, incorrect statement. Now, statements that couldn't be proven or falsified is one thing. Directly disproven has not happened for the WikiLeaks.
My biggest question though is that how can you start correlating these murders and tying them into it? Hillary Clinton had something to do with it, or the Clinton family in
Well, look
general.
what surrounds the person. I mean,
They're all directly
40
correlated.
something death. How many people do you know that have died? Is it 40 something? Because I don't know.
Well, again, I
40-something
mean,
people that have
numbers
died.
aside.
I don't know, 47 people.
Well, it goes back to what they have in common. They all, like you said, opposed.
No,
The Clintons.
Not opposed. The opposed thing, I'll say that's circumstantial. Like,
Sure,
a lot of people are
okay.
saying that they had evidence against Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. We don't know.
That would be the motive, wouldn't it?
Well, they
That
never.
would be the
They
motive.
never got to tell it.
That's the point, though, is that. But again, we can't prove it, and that's where the conspiracy aspect comes in. Because if it was just obvious and they could prove it, they would be in jail a long time ago. We would hope.
Well, let me ask you this. So, how many other political figures in America have that kind of body count, even if it's falsely attributed to them?
Probably not even a. There's,
None since Kennedy.
yeah, that's
Okay.
I mean,
That's
you could
crazy.
almost maybe argue Bush's dad, but even that was more wartime stuff than really anything.
Well,
Okay.
you've heard about the conspiracy theories with the Clinton family, just like, for example, them going over to California. You know, those big giant owls. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Bohemian Grove?
Oh,
Bohemian Grove.
Yeah. Okay.
That one my roommate's really into.
Yeah.
And it goes with the whole like pedophile ring too.
Right.
The Illuminati type shit.
Well, it's more skull and bones, I think. than
Oh no, it's
Illuminati.
I
Freemasonry.
guess I don't know
No.
that much about it then. 'cause-
You
It's
don't know-
Freemason.
Well, I mean, I've heard about it, but I
So
don't.
here's the idea:
I
is
haven't heard
that,
some of that.
so you get all these political figures, people that are in power. It's an occult kind of concept, where as far as they all worship strange deities,
Yeah.
and they think that they get this power from these deities. And so there's been proof that you get these. It's like a nice little go away camp, and they go to California. And they worship a big giant owl, and they're in these little
effigy.
gowns and
So,
these little.
interesting tidbit to that. So they have 3, I believe, separate camps. Within those camps, you have the political figures, you have artists and musicians and things like that, and then
Hollywood.
I'm not really sure
Hollywood.
what the third one is, but they're different degrees. And it's claimed or stated or believed that a lot of the like major decisions are made there. However, they have this it's like a creed or motto that they have over like the archways when you enter. It's a Shakespearean quote. I don't remember exactly what it
I
is.
actually heard about that.
But basically it means leave all your shit behind. The idea is it's like a boys club. I think they do invite some women. I'm not entirely sure about that. But it's very secretive.
Very secret.
And like the only footage I've ever seen was like some guy behind a fence very far away. You can see the burning effigy, but that's really all we
You
know.
always hear about the burning effigies.
So how does that tie the Clintons to it?
Because there's
there-
records of Bill Clinton specifically, not Hillary Clinton, though
Spirit cooking?
she's connected to spirit cooking, which could be part of it, but is probably a separate thing. I don't put a lot of stock in the spirit cooking stuff because my roommate's very much into it. He's the much more conspiracy guy than I am.
Uh-huh.
Anunnaki and all that.
So when you say spirit cooking, what are you talking about?
Witchcraft.
Oh, okay.
related
I got you.
things,
So like
occult.
consuming menstrual blood on the 5th moon of the year, something, you know, I mean weird, stupid shit like that.
big
I was
part of it.
I was watching a show the other day where they were kind of making light of it. They're called blood babies, and what they do is they take the blood from a younger, more
Make it light of it.
year-old.
There's,
Yeah.
there's recorded evidence of them doing that.
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about this earlier, not to interrupt.
Sure.
Scientists did a study where they took, I think, the blood or the plasma of young mice, injected in old mice, and they saw a direct correlation to them becoming more energetic
Really?
and more just more
Healthier. It
you-
removed age-related
Now,
illnesses in a way.
That part of humanity has been around in cultures and religions
Sure.
and weird occult shit forever. There was
Sure.
like some European duchess
or
or
Bathory.
queen who, like, I can't remember her name, but she
Arya.
bathed in the
the blood
blood
of
of
virgins,
young,
the blood countess.
young maidens.
Wow.
And it said it kept her young. I mean, I
But
doubt
there's a
that
practical
works. I
application
doubt rubbing
to
it on
it.
your skin does shit.
Well,
Practical application as far as if you
There's-
rub this around
even
you
if we-
or if you ingest it.
Even if it's
then-
not true, the point is that people have believed this for a long time, especially the rich and powerful. Because
Right.
after you have all the money in the world and all the power in the world, what's
You want to make up
left?
for lost time.
Youth.
Fair. That's a good point. I mean, Ponce de Leon, he was
He
in
did it for the Queen of Spain, I think?
Look for the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a whole lot easier ways to do this shit. Like I ain't bathing in the blood.
Money.
Yeah, like
But if you had the money to buy some young Thai girl's blood, why not?
Specifically, Ty?
because I'd rather
Well,
put
it's
a
just they have looser organ ones.
I'd rather put a
Loose or
cream
something.
on and then blood.
You'd rather do a what?
Put some like cream on.
They do have a
I
cream
think
for
I
that,
would agree.
testosterone cream.
Some cocoa butter.
Yeah, whatever. Anything besides blood.
I would agree with you. My personal favorite for staying young is the water of life, which is scuba. But
Not only that, if you're a billionaire, who gives a shit about looking young?
well,
Like
I mean,
you have a problem getting women?
I don't.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
if
think it's a
it's-
problem about looking young. It's a problem of feeling young.
Yeah.
It's a problem of
You could buy the best drugs.
longevity.
Why
well,
do you
so
think-
longevity and living to enjoy
Legacy.
that wealth that you've accumulated.
why do you think Trump does amphetamines to this day? Which is recorded on. It's recorded that he uses diet pills that he was supposed to do for a short period of time to help with his weight problem. I think.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Look into it. It's weird. I mean,
Huh.
how do you think a guy his age and he drinks like 12 packs
Cocaine.
of Diet Coke? It's not cocaine. He doesn't drink.
Diet cocaine.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He's pretty straight edge, but he drinks 12 pack of Diet Coke a day. Watches 8 hours of television a day.
He knows something we don't.
But he's always
Yeah, but isn't
energetic.
his diet also like
fast food?
fast food?
Well,
where
hey,
he
eats
dude,
takes
fried
the
chicken
buns
all-
off?
Wait. Bill Clinton had a healthy diet of McDonald's, as if I recall.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
that's-
he
But
big
the point
bags.
is, there's a recorded case. There's a doctor who came out and said that he's been giving Bill Clinton a
To
prescription.
me, this sounds like just real shitty decision making from these people.
Well, I
and
mean-
now they're
I mean,
just
why
trying
why
to
would
just
they
over
care?
He's a paid doctor. I mean, he'll tell you anything. If you
Okay,
give
but
money.
I'm on amphetamines for ADHD, but that doesn't make me like unsound or.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't make you unsound. I'm saying it's kept him energetic and.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, but what if
performance
what if,
enhancer.
What if he actually has a a condition that he needs it.
But technically speaking, I have ADHD as well, and I have Vyvanse for years, and I am very much against the use of ADHD medication, which is a whole other discussion. But the problem is,
Just go find some young children, man.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe there's a direct correlation between
Extract their plasma.
overconfidence,
Just be nice about it. Just be like, hey, I don't want to eat you.
too much belief in oneself, which is flawed in a discussion with
Egotism.
with the use of those drugs, because that's a chemical thing that happens. It's
Okay.
like cocaine. You
Well-
do too much blow, you're going to be very much like not sure what's
You're
going
right.
on.
You're on top of
very-
that shit.
But at the same time, I'm on it right now. Have you ever
You're
known
on,
me?
wait, you're on cocaine right now?
No, I'm on
just fucking-
amphetamines, salts. Have you ever known me to be those like egotistical?
No.
No.
And
You actually
you know
seem
what?
very calm, which
Exactly.
indicates you probably do in fact need it.
Oh, for sure.
That's a good point.
If I don't take it, I'll annoy everybody.
Well, and here's the thing: is that I'm not saying I'm against it when it's prescribed correctly.
Yeah.
My only problem is that he doesn't have a doctor who says, or a psychologist or a psychiatrist that says he has ADHD or another attention deficit problem. He literally took it for weight loss purposes.
Well,
like Fin was used
Actually,
years ago.
you know, when they come out with that, they're actually not legal to say why he's taking medication like that.
Oh, with this doctor's
Yeah, it's
getting a lot of
fine.
trouble for doing that.
Do I? Oh, yeah, I know, but like he probably withheld a lot of information, rightfully so, because
Well, yeah, his medical history isn't anyone's business. I'll give him
Exactly.
that.
I agree, but I'll say this: if this is a big issue when a lot of people are anti-Trump, if he had an ADHD problem after hearing this, it's not a big deal of ADHD in this.
A lot of
time period.
people have it.
Why wouldn't you come out and say, "No, I'm taking this for ADHD. Fuck off, please. It's none of your business." No, he's denied all the claims.
And I
for
feel
it.
like the kind of person that he is, he would, in fact, probably
Yeah,
come
he
out
doesn't give a
about that
shit.
shit. Like, I don't really think he wouldn't say if he had a
He's-
problem,
yeah.
if he really did.
he's pretty
I mean, I
open
don't
about
know.
his personal life, and I'm not gonna.
In an arrogant way.
no, I get what you're throwing down. I
And
mean,
it's that's
So
not-
with that note, is Hillary open with her personal life?
Yeah.
Not really.
no.
No, but she really tries hard to appease every
So she'll
lower
try.
common denominator.
She'll try to appease everybody, but everybody stay out of her business.
We're stronger together, and she's for women's rights, even though that she does
Yeah.
nothing for women.
She acts like she's in touch, but no, she's rich. Wealthy. She does weird shit.
She only got
evidently.
rich when she got in politics.
Well, hey,
Isn't that weird?
you know how much the minimum cost is for her to speak at your, let's just say,
Like
college?
150,000 or something.
$250,000
You know, Bill Clinton-
minimum.
Bill Clinton, I think it might be a wrong quote, but it's up there. I think 800,000.
I believe it.
I think over in Russia.
The point is they
to
make
be honest-
money off of campaigning.
Well, let's
and all
not
that
forget
shit.
that the Trump family and the Clinton family were friends for a very, very, very long time. And they were friends till very recently before the election. It almost feels like they kind of had like a dinner one day and decided, hey, let's both run for president and see who wins.
Yeah. Hey, we have uranium.
Let's have some fun with this, guys.
Yeah.
We'll put a $100,000 bet on it.
You know what you can do with uranium?
We can build a bomb.
Everything goes boom.
Make Spider-Man? I don't know.
You like fireworks?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to sell it to my enemy.
Well, no. I mean, like I was watching this Joe Rogan podcast. They were talking about Clinton. Yeah, no, but what they were talking about is so you have wealthy people that are into weird shit. Now, if there's one family like that, there's going to be another and another, and they're all going to get together and they're going to do weird fucking shit.
For sure.
Because they have the money to do it, and then once they're a big enough group, they have some kind of influence or control.
Let me tell you something. If I'm very rich and powerful, I promise you I'm doing cocaine off a stripper's ass. That's
Every
just
day.
what's happened.
Every day.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the norm.
But here's the thing, that's why I shouldn't be rich, because that would just...
Oh,
so
yeah,
bad.
for sure. For sure.
That's the biggest problem about being rich. I mean, I harp about this all the time, but I cannot stress the importance. A lot of people, I know a lot of friends of mine that are just like, oh, I just want to get rich real fast. But if you really think about what it means to be rich, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
The whole
If we
barn.
were to just get rich right here, real quick, here's what's going to happen. Just because you've got $1 million to $2 million doesn't mean your friends and family do.
Oh, no, I would lose half of
And
his friends
so,
and family.
exactly. So you're going to wake up tomorrow not having a job, but they're not. They're going to keep going to their job, and they're going to keep doing the things that they do because it's their life. Unless you're going to buy them, which is what we see a lot with the NFL players that they're doing
Well, they
that
all
same
end up broke
thing,
by the time they're 45 because of that shit.
buying their entourage.
You're damn right.
So then when that happens, now you're kind of pushed into that new group, that new echelon. And I think that's a lot of like what the politics is all about. As far as, again, most of these people are psychopathic. They are willing to screw somebody over real quick just to make a quick buck.
Willing to kill
or
people.
If it's, yeah, or not even just to make a quick buck, but also to get that power.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say this. there's a reason that it exists in our gene code. At some point, that was a valuable skill to have. At some point, being psychopathic was something that our species needed to survive. We needed people to pop out every once in a while that could do things
Not,
that nobody
I
else
would
So like the
argue
gladiators.
not psychopathic.
No. But
I mean,
Self-defense,
I mean,
sure.
If
Or-
you're turned into psychopathic.
well, no, hold on. So no, I have a thought on that. So like people who are sociopathic, I think in earlier time they would flourish because they're very much all about themselves. They don't give a shit about
Flourishing
anyone
now.
else.
Look.
However, that doesn't mean that they can't empathize. So sociopaths, in fact, can understand if they choose to actually figure that out. So that actually gives them an advantage. And-
Let's not bullshit a bullshitter here. We're still living in those times.
oh yeah, I was gonna say, it's
Just
like
well,
still
because
relevant now.
right,
think
but
that we've lived in
they're
this
forced
way-
to be more, I don't know how to say it, like more technical with it. I
So
mean,
just because we have technology and just because we have all these wonderful amenities of life has not changed the fact of what these people truly do. We're still fucking monsters. Racism is still
Right.
very much apparent. Look at Papa John, the CEO of Papa John the other
Schneider.
day. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Don't use that freaking word, man.
I'll say this in defense of him. He didn't use it in a hateful context.
No, he didn't. He said that.
He shouldn't have used
and
it.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, he was making a comment about how Colonel Sanders used that word.
He said it.
He did say it.
Well, I mean,
And
are
that's
you
fair.
not allowed to say it? I mean, that's,
well,
you're
I mean,
quoting
hey,
a
to be
person.
fair though,
When you're that rich and that powerful, you probably
wait, hold
shouldn't,
on.
because that happens.
You know what? When you say something, it is important.
Okay, so,
So
Context
before,
has
but
importance.
before the internet and all that shit, people had to be very careful with what they say. And then the whole anonymity thing or anonymity, whatever how you say, yeah, that. I mean, we live in an age where people act like what you say doesn't matter. They'll say things like, "Oh, I was just kidding," but no. I mean, words do matter. That's language. That's ideas. I mean, that's an essential building block of civilization. And if you can't, stand by what you say, if you can't mean what you say or say what you mean, that's a problem.
But he didn't say it. He quoted someone that did say it.
Well, his exact phrase
Well, he
was,
still said it though.
Okay, so if you're doing a biography or a documentary,
Yeah.
are you just supposed to bleep that out? Is that
Well,
how
no, but I
retarded
mean,
we
are we
become?
to assume that this person, if you're doing a biography of someone, are they not supporting that person by telling their story?
No.
Okay,
You
well,
can
they
have
do
negative
biography. They do
biography.
documentaries.
Okay, but
over
they would
murders.
specify, right?
Yeah, but that's not the point he was making.
Yeah, like
Okay,
okay, so
fair.
they what's that one that dude like Jeffrey Dahmer. So he cut up people. So what if I find that offensive? So is he not?
Well, I mean, that's causing harm to others. I mean,
No, I'm
that's a
saying
problem.
No,
Can somebody
but I'm
not make a
offended.
biography about it?
I'm
Oh, no,
offended,
no, that's not what I
motherfuckers.
mean. No.
Take it off. Take it off the video.
The point I was going to make about
Sure, go on.
Schneider was that, again, just politically and like how the waters are right now, shouldn't have said it for his own well-being.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
Not a good
But he
PR
didn't
deal.
say that fucking N-word. He didn't do that. No, he was like, hey, Colonel Sanders said the word and he didn't get in trouble. That's
Oh.
exactly what he said.
Oh, well,
Okay, so
that-
he was
So
quote.
people are
Okay.
painting him to be something.
Well, that kind of backfired on him, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, well, and
no, it didn't.
Not only that, they
His
were in a
stock-
PR meeting.
His stock went down 5%.
That's stupid.
In a PR meeting.
That's stupid.
That's a great.
You know what
It
though?
was this. It was a
People
good thing.
choose what they want to hear, right?
Here's the thing. It was a good thing that we're forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
This all went up a net profit for him. He owns 30% of the company. He's no longer the president and no longer lead shareholder. But the company went down 5% stock-wise that day, 13% the next day. So his everything he owns, he's just got a lot richer in a
Wow.
day.
Wow, getting a lot
And
richer.
he has to do no work now.
No, he barely had to do work before, but yeah, he's just.
Well, he had to
he's-
do commercials.
He probably made about at least a couple million, at least, probably way more than that.
Yeah,
And
see-
he owns 30% of the company
Yeah,
still,
but
so he's still a
money
leading
to
owner.
me is not the be all.
Oh, I agree.
end
I'm
all.
just saying for
Just-
him.
And I hate people that use that same example or argument like, well, he made a lot of money doing it. Who gives a flying fuck?
He probably does.
Just
Well-
because we talk about, oh, they made some money, so it must be acceptable.
No, it's not
it must be a
acceptable.
great
Wait, hold
fucking
on.
thing.
No, if you become president, isn't the whole the whole idea is that you have to give up your prior assets because it's a conflict of interest.
You're supposed to.
It's-
No one should be making a profit
I don't
off of
think
that
there's a
position.
law about
It's
it.
not, but it's more
No?
like people say in good faith
Okay.
you should do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, to clarify, I wasn't saying I think it's a good thing. I'm saying for
No, I'm just,
him.
getting, I'm just getting in your ass.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough. I
especially
think for
in
him,
a
it's a good thing. He's
PR
a
meeting.
businessman.
A PR meeting. Yeah, that's probably not good.
Oh, I'm saying he shouldn't have said it for his own political side. I said that to begin with, that he logically,
Exactly.
probably a bad idea. But economically and financially and the way his company works, and he was a CEO. Clearly he cares about money.
Right.
That's a net profit for him.
I mean, if I knew the amount, like if it was like 10 million, I'd say it.
Yeah, but Tim
For
William
sure.
is probably just a drop in the bucket in all fairness.
All right,
Exactly.
so what do you think would happen if Hillary dropped the N word?
I think that
We're
the
stronger
right would-
together.
Wait, no, hold on. Has she ever?
I doubt it.
I don't think she's ever actually said anything
No, she'll just kill you.
offensive.
Or let's talk about a reporter that figures that out. You think that anything like that goes on?
You know
They
what's
say,
funny
you
is,
know
though,
what?
on the-
Hillary just said this. Next day, reporter found murdered.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about that is almost everybody on the list, like a good portion of them, from when I was reading, they're political people. They weren't reporters. They weren't like lower.
So-
it was all people that worked.
You
Well,
mean-
like
you
what
mean
kind of positions?
Competition.
Pretty high
Yeah.
positions.
So
Oh,
like
Maybe
actual
not competition because they worked in the DNC
Let's
together.
see here. She hates Putin, and Putin hates her.
Well, who
I
doesn't?
wonder why. They're cut from the same cloth. They're the
Putin's the
same.
fucking-
I was gonna say I
type of
heard
people.
she was compared to she's our Putin.
She's not my Putin.
Hashtag not your Putin.
I better not see her topless riding a horse.
I'd see that.
No.
Isn't she like almost 70?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'd be dragging the ground. You know they would.
I would just see for just the hell. I just want to know. I just want to know
Talk about
I
saddlebags.
just want to know what.
what it looks like.
Oh,
Oh my
I
god.
want to know. I want to know. I'm not saying I'm
Uh.
going to enjoy it, but I need to know.
Have you ever worked at Arby's?
Do you like?
God damn it.
Do you know what the meat looks like before they thaw it out?
I hate to see the type of porn you look at.
I mean, you might be into it, man. You don't know.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I said I
Jeez.
want to know. I'm not saying I'm going to enjoy and get off it, but I mean, if you had the opportunity, I mean,
That's like saying you want to see Maxine Waters.
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
Well, she's the Democratic.
Oh, is that the African American lady?
Yes.
Kind of looks
With her face looks like melting wax.
like this.
Yeah.
I still want to see.
I don't know. Still,
Oh my god.
And again, it's not to get off. It's just because I want to know.
you just want to know.
I admire.
Lovecraftian knowledge.
jack
I wanna
off.
know.
The
Even if
insight.
it fucks up my brain. I need
All
to
right,
know.
we've just been
You
talking
jack
for
off,
26 minutes, and finally we get to it. So again, this goes back to my point: is we are just like animals, because you get a bunch of guys in the same room, they could be talking about one specific thing, and then all of a sudden it'll just deviate to I either want to see it or I don't, or I want to do it.
It always
all.
goes
Look
to
it.
titties.
It does.
Well,
it does.
I think it's a like a character thing. Is like, what kind of person are you? There's not a good or bad answer.
So it's
like,
either money,
you want to know or you don't want to.
money, sex, and power.
Well, I think money and power. I think all those things are very much correlated. But like,
Well, if you think about it, all these things give you that same type of
dopamine
feeling.
effect.
The feeling,
but that's,
exactly.
that's where I think like a larger part of drug addiction comes from is that you don't have all those other things, or you do, and you want to feel it whenever you want to feel it. So
Sure.
why not do that line or shoot that up?
Well,
or make
it's
that drink.
like Jeff Foxworthy says, I want to drink beer and I want to see something naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
he's saying we try to deny the fact that we are monkeys that can talk.
We can make tools too.
That's what we all are. But that's what that's
Well,
that's
some
the
people would
definition.
disagree with you
We're
on that
great
one.
apes that learned how to walk straight up and make
Sure.
tools and fuck under blankets.
Yeah,
And-
birds fly, fish swim.
Yeah,
we
that's-
think.
And that's like, I mean, you look at a monkey, they don't give a shit if those tits are floppy. They just want to see them.
Sure. That's
Nothing is
fair.
good or
I don't
bad.
know if you can condition them. I think they'd say otherwise.
Well, that'd be a cult because that's what.
Humans do cults a lot.
Yeah, I know, but that's
Look at
what
Captain
monkeys
Kirk.
are about. Like you got one leader and he fucks all the women.
But also,
There's no other male that can
Well, you know what ends
have
up
sex
happening
with a
to that-
woman.
The alpha?
Bonobos. You know bonobos?
they fuck everything.
Oh, dude, and they fucking.
Bonobos not just don't they fuck everything. What they do is they use it to solve problems.
It's a social interaction.
If you've
too.
got two alpha males and they're really going at it,
they'll fuck each other.
they will use that as a kind of a calming down mechanism
You mean like literally?
to make literally.
Because nobody wants to fight after they fucking found.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but they
That's
want to
right.
fuck.
I don't want to calm down then.
Well, again, so
I don't want to calm down either.
on that subject though, moving to the occult, that's exactly what you start seeing. So if you don't kill somebody who's your competition and you start making this weird fucking cult shit, they use sex as that kind of power.
That's why almost every cult
Well,
turns
well,
into
no,
a sex
you're
cult.
right. Sex is empowering in certain aspects.
In a lot of cults and a lot of these weird, strange
Yeah. You get in the
subdivisions of
forbidden
people,
territory,
Yeah,
yeah.
they start doing.
Is it weird that Bill Clinton did what he did while he was in office?
No, I think all
I
Since
think
that's
that's,
what
I think
we're-
that's just a man thing.
I think all
yeah, but you
presidents
just
do
said
it.
that it's a cult thing. He's already in power.
That's a good point.
But
So
then-
Well,
it kinda goes
and to
hand
be
in
fair, I
hand.
think that's what they experience. That's what they expect. Is they're in the buddy system. You're in your group of friends, so you get to fuck, suck, and do whatever you want to each other, and then at the same time pass some litigation because hey, Bob, we're gonna go play golf here the next day. Just go sign this paper. Oh yeah, and Bob sends some whores over or whatever, and that's just a big giant fucking orgy.
How do you think Monica Lewinsky felt? Like, didn't even have sex with her. Just like, no, you can
That
just
we
suck
know
it.
of.
No, you can just suck it, and then I'm gonna go on about my day.
Well, and I was
Making
gonna,
big decisions.
I was gonna say, I think all the presidents probably do it. I don't think George Bush did, because from all accounts of his life personally.
I don't know. I'm pretty
poli-
sure George Bush went into a glass coffin.
Oh, that one definitely happened. But no, all the political stuff about his personal life, he sounds like he was pretty happy with his wife in general. But I think most presidents, as a whole,
Yeah.
probably cheat. But
All
the thing
right.
is, that comes with your
Well,
president.
I'm going to throw something else at you real quick because we just talked about the power. We talked about the sex. When we start talking about factions, Hollywood, for
Oh my-
example, there's been so many accounts and so many stories coming out about people, pedophilia.
Terry Crews got
And-
the big thing on. He went in front
He
of
did.
Congress.
So what's this whole... Now, if we just said that people are taking blood from children for this whole fountain of
Okay,
youth
I
crap,
got something to
Why
say
are they
about
fucking
that.
them?
So, someone that I personally know called in. He told me about all this weird shit about aliens and things like that. And one of the things he did say was the whole sex cult thing. And I think it was back in the 80s or so, maybe even 70s. You know, you had this whole like kind of satanic sex cult thing going on, and a lot of politicians and things like that were implicated. Inevitably, there was really no proof, but then you hear about things like Pizzagate, which was more recent, I think, a few years ago.
fuck
And
is
they talk. Well,
You don't know what Pizzagate is?
Well,
Sounds-
Pizzagate.
sounds delicious.
Well, no. It's a huge thing, but just to kind of paraphrase what's going on with that, the Clintons were kind of implicated in that, and there's like these islands where they like rich people go to have sex with children and
Why
things
is it
like
called
that.
Pizzagate?
Well, cheese
like a-
pizza
it's like a
is
code.
a code
It's a
for hey, I'm a fucking pedophile. Yeah.
Okay, well,
So
that doesn't sound delicious.
instead of
Never mind, yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
ordering
Yeah.
But going
pizza,
back with like the
you're-
Hollywood thing, so
you're-
where there's power, there's
got it.
sex, and for whatever reason, you know,
Like House of
children
Cards.
are always involved. I mean,
Yeah,
you go
but-
back to Rome, same thing. Like it.
Power didn't make you want to love it. Or have,
Well, no. It goes to
You
the
need to be off
occultism
this
thing.
earth.
Like I couldn't tell you why they think it's empowering, but it goes back to like spirit cooking and
Oh.
other things like that because you know it goes back to they're young, they're pure.
I've
and-
never thought
yeah.
a child was sexy.
No, not at all. I'm
That's
not.
That's
No,
disgusting.
I have a
very-
reason. There's a psychological reason why possibly that this happens. Once you get to it's like so y'all ever heard of the Hellraiser series? Of movies?
yeah.
Pleasure and pain.
Well, kind of. Oh,
Okay.
let me say.
Oh, go
So basically, let's say you're super rich and you're super powerful and you're untouchable, and you've had orgies and quadruple sums and fuck dudes, fuck chicks, fuck the middle of both, done everything under the sun, poured wax on your dick, just did everything.
Sure.
Did you ever pour wax on your dick?
Not here, not now. Once you get to a certain point,
Did you?
the wax thing.
go ahead.
Again, not here, not now. At a certain point, you probably get bored. Not defending by
No,
any
no.
means.
I-
No,
I'd
I think
agree.
that's at the point where you need to commit suicide
Desensitized.
and do not contaminate the rest of the fucking world.
Or don't get to that point of moral degradation where fucking a very attractive person of the gender you prefer no longer gets jollies. off.
Well, the ancient Greeks always talked about the balance, the golden mean, which is anything in an overabundance could be a bad thing.
But they also fucked a lot of little boys in that culture.
that that's true.
So now
That's a
you're gonna
big
go.
issue.
That's
So
true.
now you're gonna go gay like that. I mean, even if like
I don't
like
think they
a lot of
saw it that
pedophiles-
way.
Well, how else do you fucking see it? I mean,
Well,
like,
no,
the
you're
fucking
right. I
dude-
mean, that's what it is. But back then, people justify it.
Well,
as-
either way you look at it, kid, boy. I'm a boy. Either way is fucked up.
No,
Well,
you-
I'll say
you-
this,
you're a
it's-
man.
It's cultural. Though. I think I'm not defending. I think pedophilia is
No,
Thank
wrong.
you.
okay, it's cultural, but it's also predicated on taboo and based on
that's basically what I was
rules.
getting to, yeah.
Because look at the Vatican, look at all these priests and everything like that. So the
Mostly
whole,
Catholic.
and the whole concept is you're not supposed to have premarital sex. So because of that, they found the loophole, which well, I'm not married to him.
Altar boys.
And yeah, sure.
By the way-
And it's God's will, and that is creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
again, it's fucking finding loopholes.
God loves the
But here's
little
the thing,
children.
as a Catholic, I will say this. Record-wise, more Protestant pastors have gotten caught diddling children
Right.
than
And what do they
Catholic
do? They
priests.
move them.
But the difference is the Catholic Church is such a large, encompassing part of the world that it's very easy to... Because you can't pinpoint all the Baptists and all the Methodists.
I think Catholic might be one of the biggest religions in the entire world.
I think you might be right. I think Christianity as a whole definitely is.
Probably not now,
No, Christianity still is the largest religion, but the problem is most Christians don't really identify as like a...
because you get killed.
Well, not most countries.
Actually,
Well, in third world countries, you'll get killed.
Well, I mean, Islam's definitely growing, but It's most people identify as atheist.
Well, no, I was going to say, isn't it claimed that Islam is the widest
It is
practiced
the
religion?
most quickly spreading. I still think population-wise, there's more Catholics than any other
Okay.
specific religion.
Because I think
But then you get into-
Mexico is mostly Catholic.
Well, most of South America and Central Americas are Catholic. A huge portion of Europe is Catholic, mostly Southern Europe, and then it gets into Orthodox. It's a whole other thing.
Well, let's not talk about the main religions. We can go into the primitive cultures where they do eat children.
Well, okay,
And
Wait,
but-
hold on.
but
Which culture is this?
like the Mayans, for example,
They eat children?
they used to, yeah, cannibals.
well, they would take
So
out
you
their
had,
hearts.
you'd have cannibalism. Yeah, they'd eat out the
They feed them
hearts.
jaguars,
and,
I think, right?
Yes. Again, so the concept that I'm looking at is why we always go back to this very primitive concept
'Cause we're
as far
primitive.
as where it's either fucking, sucking, killing, murdering.
We've only been the way we are now for maybe 10, 20,000 years. If you're in the weird shit, maybe 40 or 50. But like, as a culture, we were so different than we are now.
Well, right,
the
but, I
idea
mean-
that raping somebody was wrong is pretty new in human
Sure,
society.
Yeah,
but
because I mean,
unfortunately.
But if you-
sexuality is a very integral part of like why we do anything. I mean,
It's 90, at least 90%.
yeah, I would say so. But because
Depending on
we
who you
live in
are.
a society now, we don't have to worry about procreation or things like that. We have time to develop other things. But because of like entertainment, Hollywood, distractions, whatever you want to attribute it to, we have other endeavors to pursue because there's no need to keep the population going. I mean, we're in the billions, trillions. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, but we ain't trying to
about
impregnate
that.
them.
Actually-
We're just trying
Well,
to.
no, but it's still a driving instinct, and a lot of people aren't very self-aware. I mean, they
Actually-
won't think about these things in that context.
I disagree, by the way. This is a whole.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Overpopulation, I'm not sold on that. Most first world countries, as soon as they get to a certain level of technological development, their population goes down. America, if we didn't have immigration, we would probably have a losing population. Japan is paying their citizens to have kids because nobody's having
Yeah,
kids.
to be fair, they've
Europe
lost
has
interest
the
in
same
sex.
problem. Once you get to a certain point in technology,
That's because they blur
You
out their
stop.
dicks in porn.
Well, no, you're right about that. No, you know what? There's
I know who
that's
watches
gonna
hentai now.
that's gonna be a whole nother podcast. There is a digital like superstar that these people follow. The whole weeaboo culture. But anyway, sorry, go on. That will be another
I was
time.
just saying the point is overpopulation is probably not real.
I disagree on that.
Well, look at China. Wow. Look at North Korea. Fuck.
China
Wait,
and
what
Korea
about
are both
North
having a
Korea?
lessening population.
All right, you're talking. They got a billion dude army, huh? Or actually, I would
Do they really though? How do we know that?
China has the largest.
Is that what they
standing
say?
army. No, China has the
Yeah,
largest standing
and
army.
also
Okay.
Japan, they also believe that aliens came down. You ever see those,
Wait, what,
those
really?
structures? Yeah. You seen those structures before? Like you see them in the paintings all the
The
time.
Shinto gateways?
Yes, exactly.
red ones?
How the
Yes.
hell?
There-
do you
there
know
is
that?
one in Corinth.
They really believe
Okay,
that.
if we're gonna do that, then I gotta put this on.
Okay.
Yeah, no mind reading here.
wait, are we getting to
If we're doing aliens, then I need to be like this. Here's that thing, and I'm gonna try it.
gonna fit.
What the?
So if we're gonna get into Anunnaki bullshit when aliens
Are we?
came here and made us who we are, I actually heard a really good argument for that.
Wait, hold on. Before you go any further, explain to the audience what the Anunnaki are.
Well, that's an aspect, but just in
Okay.
general that
Flying
Early
winged
astronaut-
aliens.
early astronauts.
Yeah.
We mean the Alien versus Predator movie actually kind of put it succinctly when they made that movie. That aliens came here and that's why we are where we are in our
Ascension.
yes.
Okay.
But here's a good example: is like when you look at animals,
Mm-hmm.
look at peacocks. Almost all peacocks look very very similar.
Sure.
Sure.
As
But
many
there's
animals do.
different, very slight differentials between them. You look at apes, like gorillas. They all look kind of similar. You look at one silverback, looks basically like the other silverback.
Okay.
You look at dogs. A Chihuahua can fuck a Schnauzer, and they don't look a damn thing alike at all. If you never saw a dog once in your life, and you saw a Great Dane, and you saw a Chihuahua, you would not believe they're the same
Okay, you're-
species. You would see that.
No,
let me
That
finish.
gets into chromosomes.
No,
No, let me
I,
finish.
no, I get that. I get what he's saying is if, for example, say you're a Native American
Right.
and you only known you're landlocked because of what's happened as far as how
Okay.
the continents have drifted. So
Sure.
you're completely landlocked. You don't know anything else as far as what your environment is.
Right.
All of a sudden you go north and you find a completely different species that is still relatively close to who we are.
And you want to fuck it?
Sure.
Well,
Well, yeah.
What I was going to get to actually is that
Once you get over that fear, then you're going to be like, what is this?
Kind of, but I was going to say is that when you see a huge differential in looks in an animal, but they're all the same species,
Okay.
there's a direct correlation between intelligent oversight.
Okay, so are you saying that
Dogs look the way they do because we made them that way.
Because well, it was the
it was
blend of
wolves.
Selective
wolves,
breeding.
wolves and foxes.
Well, no, it's all wolves. There's not a single fox chromosome in those. The Russians did a fox experiment, but there's no foxes. Every single modern day dog that we have, we used to think that they were wild dogs, like hyenas. That we used to think they were like foxes, they were like wolves. It was a bunch of different species that
Okay,
was controlled.
I got a question for you.
Every single modern day dog comes from wolves.
Okay, so what about inbreeding?
Well, let me finish. my
Isn't that
point.
how when that
To get
changed?
that
That's-
good old purebred.
I'm trying to get to the point. The point being is that once you look at animals, they're all the same species, like cows or sheep. They're all from the same thing, but they look different because we made.
What do
it that
they
way.
come from?
Humans. If you were an alien, you landed on our planet and you saw Shaq, and then you saw Katy Perry, you would like. They look kind of like, but they probably aren't the same species.
Okay, so you're trying to say that cows and humans are very similar?
I'm saying
And
that,
that they are
the reason that
connected?
we look the way we do, oversight.
Okay, how'd you get different toned skin?
That's saying oversight. That's
Well,
saying is like
that's
people-
pigment.
Yeah, pigment. But that takes. I'm saying.
Yeah, but
there's a weird correlation that the animals.
Couldn't that same thing happen in dogs?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I'm saying.
And then
Well, it's
what if
environmental,
They
so-
met up with the
Well,
the other pigment, and
So,
then
I mean, to
you
clarify on that, so people who live in the northern hemisphere are more likely to probably be lighter skin, whereas people
vitamin
in the
D.
southern, where it's hotter, brighter sun, they're going to have darker skin because it's preventing skin damage. It's
No,
pigment.
It's a vitamin D thing.
Okay, but what
Okay.
about when Pangea was in effect? When all the
we all would
countries
have looked very similar.
exactly. So whenever it split up, that's when the changes started.
We
so,
didn't exist
So
then,
what if the
so-
wolves? That's how you get different types of dogs. I don't
Well,
know.
we have
I'm
a
just throwing
well,
shit
we're
out
saying
there.
the point is that wolves were wolves until maybe like 100,000, 200,000 years ago. It's pretty early on the genetic record that we started altering it.
Well, we actually
So
started.
what
We
you're
didn't
talking about-
actually alter it. We started domesticating because actually I think we went over
Well, I'm
this.
saying that
Yeah,
was
we
part of
did.
alteration, was domestication. We domesticated wolves, and then we bred the ones that were more congenial towards us to be our dogs. Because every once in a while you're going to meet one. Well, you kill that one. Because you don't want it to be, you want it to be able to not eat your children and guard your homes at night. That's what they were made mostly for, was hunting purposes. And so the point is that we changed them on purpose to suit our needs.
And I agree with that.
And that's why they all look so different. But if we let all the dogs in the world just loose and let them breed as they want, in about a couple hundred years, they would all look like wolves again.
Okay.
So the point is that why there's a direct correlation in my eyes. Like we look the way we do. Why do we all look so different? People can argue it's because we moved to different parts of the world and all those things, but there's.
You ever
I'm
seen
not-
people from Norway?
Well,
They're really
I mean,
pale.
that gets down
Yeah,
to
what's the
genetic-
vitamin D thing?
Well,
'Cause
hold on.
When you have pale skin, you still get more
Brandon,
vitamin D.
That holds on. That's like genetic mutation. I mean, you have even if you have two parents, you have their genes swapped. There's still always that genetic variation in between.
Shit can happen.
I mean,
That happens.
variety is what keeps life going.
I believe you, but I'm saying that my whole point. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm saying
Yeah.
that we intelligently designed the dogs to look a certain way. Humans look a
I think
certain
you're
way.
using
Sure.
intelligent a little loosely. I don't think we intelligently designed them that
I
way.
think
I
the
don't know if we
dog. Well, I know they
Well, a lot
did.
I
of
don't think we give
spontaneous.
ourselves enough credit when it comes to that. We
Okay.
didn't know what genes were, and we still were able to design these dogs to do what the fuck.
Now,
we
I
wanted
do
to
know-
You mean Mandalorian?
German shepherds
the
were
PETA,
designed.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
German
I mean,
shepherds were designed for
Yeah.
a certain job.
Yeah.
They were used in search and rescue, herders,
Yeah.
and
That's
selective
dogs.
breeding. So you look for qualities that you want and you try to
Exactly.
replicate
Yeah,
them.
but that's
And we've-
selective breeding. That's
Well,
right,
not
but we-
saying I made this. You're not going to breed
Yeah.
poodles in the idea that they're going to
Exactly.
go with the Navy
But
SEALs.
the
and
wolves
go
that followed
take
the
on
man,
missions.
the man around.
You're going to take a goddamn poodle on a mission.
Well, hold on.
breed
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
Actually,
Get the fuck out of
do
here!
you know this?
Poodles are mean and
Oh, look at the
big.
scary guy with the
No.
dachshund and the poodle.
Get this.
Dachshunds will kill badgers.
Poodles
Wait,
are
what?
the
Yeah,
smartest
that's
dog. They're number one on the list.
Yeah, they're very
Poodles?
intelligent.
Dachshunds?
Poodles.
poodles.
On dachshunds,
They're
by
the
way.
smartest.
They're
I
the
grew up-
smartest.
I grew up with dachshunds. The reason they have that long
Google
body
it.
is they were designed
I
to
believe
go into
you.
badger holes and pull badgers. And badgers are
Badger
mean
holes.
fucks.
Yeah,
Trust
but-
me, I don't like to
Dachshunds
admit
have a
that
stronger
either.
jaw per capita
There you
than
go.
almost
Badgers
any
kind
dog.
of leave you alone.
I spent a
though.
lot of money on my
Badgers
German
kill people
Shepherd.
For
all
the
the
most
time.
part, they just kind of just mind their own
The most
business.
dangerous animal in Africa,
Until
one
you
of
meet
them
the
is
honey
the honey
badger.
badger. That fucker tears your balls off. It goes straight for your any animal. It's been recorded.
He's throwing shit, dude.
I see
I'm
that.
so
He's getting
adamant.
pissed.
Yeah.
They've been recorded to go to oxen and go straight for the nutsack.
That's great and all.
That's badgers.
I don't believe you.
It-
We're shifting gears.
That's he takes the
and that's the
tinfoil hat
whole
off.
alien thing. Is that aliens came. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm saying that's people believe this.
Well, what's your belief on the paranormal, like ghosts or spirits, spooks?
I'm naturally
specters.
a skeptic.
Naturally a skeptic.
Because, and that's just how my gut reaction always like, really? Is that true? But growing up, I saw some weird shit.
Yeah.
And it's something that's hard for me to correlate in my brain as I've gotten older.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm like, again, this stupid, like, that's dumb, that's dumb. Even religion, even though I consider myself somewhat religious, I kind of every once in a while have a thought, like, really?
Sure.
But then when you
I don't know.
experience things,
Yeah, I kind of have a theory on ghosts. So I don't really believe in ghosts because I've never had a ghost experience. I know a lot of people that have. But if you're into like string theory or alternate universes, things like that, you know, maybe it's just kind of a like a residual hiccup, like an overlapping of different possible realities.
like
I
a fringe
think-
thing.
Yeah, or metaphysical.
I'm always in a TV show touch.
Yeah, but something like that. Because, I mean, every civilization has their ghost stories. So there's got to be something to that, right?
I mean, every civilization used to believe in dragons, but do dragons exist?
Not
Maybe they
now.
Could have, maybe. I don't know.
It depends on what the dragons are.
I mean, China claimed at one point they had dragon bones
In North Korea, said they had a
and dust.
unicorn, so
A unicorn grave with engravings specifically.
My point being is that, so, I mean, I can go into a little bit of my own personal experience with the supernatural if y'all like.
Sure, go ahead.
So, I grew up fairly poor with 4 older siblings, 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters.
Peasant.
Thanks. Orange County fuck. Grew up poor, Irish Catholic Texas boy.
Good old boy.
And so, while I was doing that, growing up in that situation, we all didn't have rooms. We all slept in the living room in a big pallet. If you don't know what a pallet is, depending on where you're from, it's just like a big pile of blankets.
No, I don't know. What's a pallet? Is that made
Okay.
of wood?
I hate you.
Can you put things on it?
So, we all would sleep together, all 5 of us. And I had my older brother, my older brother, my older sister, my older sister. I was the youngest. And our mom passed away when we were real young. And about 6 months to a year before that happened, all of us would have these really odd dreams. Some of us dreaming about her death.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us seeing things in the peripheral.
Yeah.
For years, I thought I was worried I was going to get schizophrenia or something.
So all of y'all were experiencing the same thing.
And it wasn't a shared dream state. It wasn't a shared memory.
Did y'all ever talk about it together?
No, we didn't talk about it until we were about
So you guys didn't figure this out until later on.
in our 20s.
Later
all of
on.
us. Like my oldest brother is 31.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 6.
You were 6.
And my siblings were like 8, 10, 13, and 15.
And you didn't start. So, and then once you're in your 20s is when you all started
It came up in a
recanting the
conversation
idea.
one day. I was drinking beer with my oldest brother when I was down in Houston visiting. And we don't ever really talk about mom too much because it's a hard discussion to have. And me and him, we all have different dads. So we all kind of moved to different spots afterwards. So those are discussions that we're all pretty reserved. We're raised that way.
Okay.
And so we didn't really talk about all that stuff. And then it came up because I was talking about an experience my sister, the one I'm very close with, the one who's a year older than me. She was always the one who was more open about talking about that kind of stuff. She was very much sold into the occult for a long time.
Oh, shit. What kind of cult?
Well, just, I won't go too much into it, but...
Satanism?
Not too, more like Wiccanism.
Wiccan?
Wiccan?
Wiccan.
Yeah, like...
Witchcraft.
Like Satanism light kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
And-
My fiance was
She's
into
actually
that
very
shit.
religious now, and she's very happy.
Good for her.
Married to a guy who's going to be a pastor.
Joined another cult.
Wow.
You exchange one for the other, right?
That's right.
One's a little bit more nice than others, but...
It's an addictive thing. Go ahead, sorry.
Anyways, we had similar stories. We would see things like we had like a sliding glass door in our poor ass kitchen that we could just see through, and we all remember seeing just like figures in that window, like reflected, like shadow figures.
Right.
Well, there's tons of evidence of shadow figures, like the heartbeat and what is it? When you can't move when you wake up.
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis. I
That's
used to get
common.
that
You
a
see shadow
lot.
figures in your peripheral.
Yeah.
That's a very common occult thing,
Yeah.
is seeing shadows.
Well, you can feel it, too.
We all remember that.
Sleep paralysis is
Terrifying.
The human body either has enough or not enough sleep. And so what happens is when you hit REM cycle sleep,
A chemical's released when you're not moving,
your
right?
body is starting to wake up, but do I have that backwards? Your mind's waking up, but your,
Your
body's
brain wakes
still
up before your
paralyzed.
body.
It's
Yes,
like- it's-
exactly.
And
Organizing
I
thoughts
actually do
back
have a
in the
few
day.
stories about that. One being, so when I was probably between 16 and 18, I used to get sleep paralysis a lot. And one of the times when it happened, you know, I woke up, my eyes opened, there was this thing on me. I could feel it touching me. I was straight up felt like I was being raped or something. But like I was able to look down at the floor because I couldn't fucking bear to look at whatever it was on top of me.
I have a question.
And this eye opened up from the ground. And the only thing I could do was like, well, I could stare at it or I could close my eyes and like, literally will myself to move. It was pretty fucking frightening. That's probably the only thing I've ever experienced where I could almost say it was supernatural. But like you said before, I mean, everyone kind of goes through this. Usually it does happen to people when they're younger, adolescents, or if you're stressed, unusual sleep cycles, things like that. But yeah, like you said, harpies, incubi, things like that. That's where that all comes from.
I had sex in a graveyard. That was pretty supernatural.
I've done that too.
I'm pretty sure that's desecration.
It depends what state you're in. But no, and so and the only correlation that's weird in my head, this stuff happened when we were kids because it happened before our mom passed. And both of my sisters, only my sisters, not my brothers, only my sisters remember having dreams about our mom dying, premonitions about it. Which again, skeptic. Dreams, people dream about people dying. It happens all the time.
Sure.
And I remember growing up, I used to have awful, awful nightmares in that period of my life about my mother dying, my father dying, but people have those dreams. My mom was a drug addict. You have stressful dreams. Shit like that happens. But once all 5 of us have very similar experiences, and then 6 months later she passes away, never knew if it was suicide, if it was just chemical dependency, all these different things.
Right.
It puts it in perspective. Like, I think it's to quote, I don't remember if it's Hamlet or not, but there's more to this world than you can measure in beakers and bottles.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, definitely. That's Shakespeare.
There's more to it.
It's more to life than you know, Horatio. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and it's things like
The unseen world.
As a skeptic, you try to put it in science, like, oh, this is like the sleep paralysis is just a chemical being released in your brain, so you don't move when you're dreaming.
Right.
And so when you're moving when you're asleep,
And that could really be
there's
more
not
of a
enough of it.
means to the phenomenon rather than the actual explanation.
Why do we have to separate the two?
It's an interesting concept. I'm one of those types where I could literally induce goosebumps to myself if I just think of music. If I just think of some type of music, I'll just start getting goosebumps everywhere. It's a very strange thing. So even like scientists, we don't understand what goosebumps really are. Same
Really?
thing like the placebo. Yeah.
We don't know?
Don't know.
That's
It's like
fucked.
the same thing as like
Isn't
the
it
placebo
associated
I
effect.
figured it was just your hair raising because like animals have that happen when you're like,
Yeah, it's
you
like-
ever been
it's
angry and your hair
instinctive.
goes like, eh.
Well, the idea is that it's a sense.
Yeah.
That it's
Electromagnetic
there's
maybe,
like there's
sharks?
there's like a sixth sense that we all have, whether or not people are in tune with it or not. I personally believe everyone does have one. It's just whether or not you can be adapt to that. And some people
Like who's
maybe
woke?
are more genetically. No, I don't like the whole woke thing. But it's an interesting concept. Science and quantum mechanics and physics are really starting to kind of show. Like Einstein, for example, quantum entanglement has always been very a fascinating subject to him. But the one thing that he never understood was action at a spooky distance theory, which is that if you've got two particles that get together, they start interacting, you can separate them all over. Clay's leaving. He's leaving.
He's got to use the restroom. I'm not going to lie. I really got to go too. So when he comes back, I got to use
Y'all can't handle your liquor.
No shit, man. So the idea is the further that they separate, if one's stimulated, then the other one will be stimulated as well. And if you start taking that to account as far as what everything is, as far as what matter, you have concepts as far as like we have ghosts or things that are paranormal, which really just seems like electronic magnetic pulses.
Well, and that's like those
that are just
ghosts.
left
Well,
over.
I mean,
guys
if I
use.
can add this real quick, for whatever reason, when people can't explain shit, it goes to supernatural, aliens. I mean, these are just all easy answers to questions that we really just don't have answers to.
Sure.
Well, it's human nature, dude.
Or, I mean, conspiracies even. It's the same thing. It's just, we just tend to think of the worst case scenarios.
Well,
Because sometimes, I mean, that's actually the truth, but, I mean, how do you really know?
well, a good example of that is that humans have always done this. I mean, aliens. What are the common thread of aliens? Bright lights, middle of nowhere by yourself.
And that's a lot of
kidnap.
Cosmic phenomenon. They
Well,
explain
let me
it.
finish.
Yeah.
Kidnapped by beings of light and that look different.
Sure.
Or, and losing time
Okay.
and weird marks. What is an example in old history that did the same thing?
I mean,
The Fae.
to be quite fair, it could be the same thing as the astronauts. They take jellyfish, and they get them out of their natural environment. They put them in these little tubes, and they put them out in space. And the reason why is because they're trying to study how they swim and what their understanding of their orientation is. A jellyfish has a natural orientation of knowing what up and down is based on gravity. You take gravity away from that, and they're finding out all sorts of weird, strange things that go on. But put yourself in the shoes of the jellyfish. When you have like these abduction cases, or people talk about they got these dreams are another interesting concept. because now we're talking about like virtual reality, how virtual reality can now simulate pretty much any goddamn thing in life.
Well, that's
You
a
want
good
to start
example why
talking?
aliens probably won't leave their planet. Why try to colonize the universe when you can just download your brain into infinity?
Right. Well, and that's, I think, is the scariest thing that's going to start happening, is where if you can start manipulating people's brain matter, or like how the neurons are firing off in certain patterns based on any type of visual stimuli. We've already seen this with the screens as far as what
Or just
goes on.
drugs.
You know,
That's the same thing.
that's my whole point,
Exactly.
is that it's the same concept. It's just you're synthesizing things in a different vibration.
It's a chemical manipulation of our brains.
Yes.
That's
And
all
so-
the screens are, is dopamine. Like, oh, somebody texted me, boom.
Right.
Somebody liked my status, boom.
Right.
Well,
So
it depends on what you're doing. Like, you got memory, you got so many different functions of your brain, and whatever you're doing, like even if you're taking drugs, it's going to fire off differently than like if you're just studying or you're working on something. Like, so it's just exactly what you were just saying. I think we looked at it the other night.
Yeah, well, again, the weird part about this is we've started to kind of see glimpses of this stuff. And really all it is just vibrations. We're using every type of vibration, whether it's audible, whether it's visual. We're using these sequences of vibrations to make different things happen and what we experience. Now, when I start looking at like paranormal things like ghosts, or one of the most common things about a ghost experience, if they have equipment, is electromagnetic pulses and electric. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I've always felt super skeptical of that aspect.
Why?
Because everything puts off electromagnetic.
No, it
pulse.
doesn't.
Oh, humans do.
Well,
we do.
No,
Not everything.
That's gravitational.
Anything that has energy involved. Plants
Sure.
do. We do.
We're
But
talking,
I think-
but we're also talking electromagnetic.
yeah, no, we produce that too.
People, yes, people
you're saying
do
is that
produce
let's say they go
that,
to
but
these old
not
houses.
not everything
Okay, fair enough.
is an electromagnetic
Fair enough,
pulse.
I overextended.
Otherwise, we'd all be walking around frying the fuck out of each other.
Well, a good example is you go to a house, and they're
Sure.
an old fucked up house, and they're in like, or an asylum, and they have these little electronic scanners.
Uh-huh.
All they're scanning for is electric currents.
Right?
There's power
They're
lines.
they're scanning
all
for
over these
fluctuations.
places.
Well, and
If you put an extra power line, it'll read that there's a ghost around.
Well,
No,
sure. Yes,
well-
that's true. That is true.
But
so I'm
at
not
the
saying
same
it's not
time-
accurate. I'm saying that it's hard to prove which is really a ghost. Which
Well,
is
yeah, but
really
they
just
turn the power
somebody
off.
having a TV on. But
So
they could be a block away, and somebody could have a generator moving. and
no,
still
it's
detect
got to
that.
be within a certain
It depends
distance.
on the power of the electronic pulse. Like
Well,
if
there's
you-
also cold spots,
That's
which
true.
is just temperature fluctuation.
And that one I actually
So
put more
explain
value
that
in.
one to me.
I put more value in. I was gonna say I put more value in the cold spots than I do in electronic pulses. Because cold spots, that's weird. Unless if there's no AC unit going.
Yeah,
and
and we
stuff,
get a lot of
there's no air
Wi-Fi
current.
and shit, so electrical whatever
I
is
mean, Wi-Fi
pretty
is a good
prevalent,
example
right?
too. But I'm just saying that
You'd have
that
to
one
just you have to
seems-
look at what the frequency is in
and
Wi-Fi.
that's fair. But I'm saying in general, I felt that one's a little bit more easy to be falsified or misunderstood than a cold spot. You walk into a room and it's perfectly fine, and all of a sudden it's freezing your tits off. That's weird.
Yeah.
It is.
That's odd to me.
But
That's a personal feeling.
you mentioned
That's just-
frequencies, so we were talking about that earlier outside before we started the podcast. So sound has a very significant
yeah, the
effect
fan
on the
thing.
way that human beings act, function, and perceive. Right. So what were you saying earlier about that?
Oh, I can't remember the exact specifics.
Sure.
But you heard the story too, right?
But it caused the sound frequency caused people to
It was-
physically hallucinate things.
It was some kind of lab. I can't remember. I wish I remembered more. I need to read about it later. But basically, there was a lab. They people in that lab were repeatedly seeing things, hearing things, noticing weird shit, and they thought it was haunted.
Right.
And they brought. I can't remember who they brought in, but they brought people in. They eventually discovered that there was a fan, like a single fan that was connected to an air duct that was making a weird noise that was above like human conscious hearing, that was causing hallucinations. If you replicated that sound now in this room, we would hallucinate things.
So, okay, on that topic, how come that doesn't happen in music with the wide variety?
I
It
have
might-
an answer for that.
it might do
In
that.
fact, it does. So what we listen to currently, the frequency, I think, what is it? It's like 440 or something like that. That was not what we listened to music to originally. So it was sometime, I think it was before World War II.
It was
I mean,
a
don't quote me
Nazi.
on that. Was it?
A fucking Nazi figured
Yeah,
this shit out.
they did.
So did the Rockets,
So
though.
a lot of the music you listen to is at a very it's a dissonant frequency. So it fucks with you. Not too much that it's a problem, but the Nazis
440, 440,
yeah,
440
they,
hertz.
they believed because they were trying to control people, so that goes in like the whole
So
fluoride
yeah,
thing,
440
so-
hertz versus 432, I believe.
something like
I
that.
bet the Thule Society had something to do with it.
And
Yeah.
so we can actually do the experiment real quick if you want to do it. It's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept is that
I'm always up for hallucinating.
When you have
Who is
You
it?
should have called me earlier.
be tripping balls just with listening to
Here's the
music.
frequency.
Joey Diaz did a microdot podcast, and I'm like, ooh,
He did?
he has some real balls.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh wow!
Do you
him, what's his the other guy?
Here, I'm gonna look this up real quick.
The guy who does the podcast with him, and shit, what was the third guy? They did acid together. No, it was Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo did not do the acid, but they all did acid and just talked about it. It was great.
So what are we doing right now? We're going to listen to Frequency in 440 and then 432.
What's that?
Wish you'd
We're
upgrade
gonna
that
be,
shit.
Yeah,
Comparing
that's
frequencies.
440 hertz versus 432 hertz. And
Okay.
if you haven't seen the
All right.
original,
All right, people. If you have headphones, it will help if you put them on.
hope this helps. Thanks for watching.
Join us in this
Do this
experiment.
shit.
Why are y'all doing this?
Engage. So right now this is what, 440 or 432?
I'm not telling you.
All right, fair enough.
Has to be 440.
No, you're right. This is. I find B to be more pleasing right away. I notice the difference.
It's not
Wait, hold on, there's more.
hallucinogenic.
Well, no, this is about just the general frequency. So with 440, the idea is that it'll actually make you feel a little more uncomfortable, whereas listening to a proper, more harmonic frequency, you will feel more at ease.
So what about gothic people?
Well, I mean, we all listen to music typically in 440, so that gets people more kind of moving, but it doesn't.
I like a lot
so,
of hate music.
Well, no, right, but think like anxiety. It's not a pleasant thing per se. It's not bad either, but again, you know, the guy who kind of figured this out didn't really fully know the potential. But there's been cases, there's frequencies that you can play that you won't audibly hear, but it can cause your organs to not function, and it can kill you. There's also like a mountaintop in China where the frequency from the wind will actually induce madness. Like you'll go insane from the frequency. So
Over time, probably.
well, yeah, over time. But if you think about it, everything is a vibrating, like everything's vibrating. So sound is very integral to existence.
That's how we pick it up.
So what was the experience?
What's that?
What's going on right now? Right?
Yeah. So
So just listen.
I can't hear.
Oh, here.
so you hear the differences, right?
Makes you want to chug a beer.
I heard the differences, but
Oh,
let's
sorry.
But yeah,
So
Which one do you like?
This is the first one here.
So yeah, just revisit that real
sounds like a Garth Brooks song.
Yeah.
quick. Well, no, but kind of pay attention to what you feel physically when you're listening.
Like deep inside.
well, yeah, you'll know. Just,
I feel
just
beer
give it a chance.
on every one of
Stop
them.
thinking and just listen. Feel it, man.
Beer.
Beer.
Feels like good whiskey.
Good whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like someone left or someone died in that song.
So why does Luke Bryan make you feel uncomfortable, Clay? Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, because he wears skinny jeans talking about throwing hay. Get the fuck out of here.
Does that make you feel unattractive?
No. I'm glad someone hit
Do
him
you
with-
wish you could fit into those skinny
I'm glad
jeans?
someone hit him in the beer with a beer in the face.
I like the intro to this song, by the way.
Yeah.
Beer.
It's very funky.
So the general idea is there was a Nazi scientist that figured out that I forget which frequency it's at, but
Whiskey.
that makes people feel more. And when
very
they
Green Day.
when they feel more, they get they feel something. They're nice, they're pleasant, and they're liberal and they're loud and they want to do expressive freedom stuff.
Yeah, it's a difference
But when
between
you-
feeling tense and
Right.
then feeling kind of at ease.
right, and when you
So they
you
made
can't-
a sound that was an oppressed feeling.
exactly. They
Okay.
they oppressed it. That way, people would start following a lot better, so they wouldn't revolt. So that
Whiskey
they-
and beer on this one.
This
But
feels
so-
like tequila.
I don't know if this is true or not. Did the Nazis come up with methamphetamines?
They did. That was part of the marching program. Actually, I read a whole article about it and wrote a paper about it at one point.
Okay.
They
I
also
just-
implemented morphine, by the way.
Well, no, here's the thing. Hitler apparently was on a regimen of 3 different chemicals, which is cocaine, opiates, and methamphetamines. And they designed it to make them march. March.
Explains why he was really good at speaking.
Oh, well, it's... His mental instability as the war went on, because he stopped wanting to win, it looked like. Jordan Peterson did a whole discussion about it, but near the end of it, he wasn't making very smart tactical choices, and nobody ever claimed that he was a great general by any means. But the point is that he started making more and more very unhinged decisions. because he was just taking too much of fucking mind-altering drugs. Here's the thing, like you said earlier. You could take a recommended amount that your brain might need to be normal, to be able to
Right.
focus, and that'll affect you.
According to the pharmaceutical
Yeah,
companies
with
that
grain
did
of
the
salt.
same opioid bullshit.
Yeah, but the point is that you take it because it helps you.
Well,
You see it
I
right
actually I take it because I annoy the fuck out of everybody else when I
The
don't.
point is it makes you feel like you act differently in a positive way.
Actually, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even take it. Just like you said,
I stopped taking it years ago.
because
But-
it actually I don't like. You always have a side effect.
Oh yeah, no, the half-life on it is garbage. You don't eat as much. You feel weird. My personal feeling.
I do it to fit into society, which
Which is sad that you have to do that.
yeah, it is. But at the same time, you get tired of people being pissed at you.
And that's fair. And I kind of felt the same way for a long time, and then I finally decided, fuck it. But there's also non-chemical ways to address it, which you can have a conversation about that later. I have a book I might recommend.
I think I might have read it.
We'll talk about it. Point being, there is a direct correlation between methamphetamines and unhinged mentality, which correlates all the way back to the whole Trump thing. But that's a whole discussion. Back to what were we originally talking about?
I think we're about to get to the good shit.
We're getting to the good shit right now. We're at an hour and 5 minutes. It was just right around where we usually just kind of improv and just kind of.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got a little caveat here.
Caveat.
because,
Let's do it.
Let's see.
Where are these motherfuckers at?
You can try this whiskey or not. It's good.
Hello.
I will
do
try.
that. It's fine.
Fabulous Squad.
Hello.
Fabulous.
Hey, what's up? What's up, buddy?
Tastes like a lot
Y'all,
of Jameson.
y'all should
Well,
y'all
it's
should be in
just
the
a little-
actually
I think it's
gay
a little-
lobby.
Okay.
There's an actual gay lobby.
So, so I've just joined. We're the Pirate Ship podcast. I just joined the Pirate Ship, and Stu,
Yep.
I'm gonna read some stuff here. Let me see if you understand what I'm saying. Okay?
Let's just dumb it down for
Are
you.
you cool with that?
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Clay, take what?
MPAA versus Hot File.
MPAA versus Hot File.
MGM versus Grokster.
Versus Roaster. Okay.
Sony versus Universal City Studios.
Okay.
All of these have to do with copyright infringement, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. well, seeing
You
as how this
piece
was
of
not
shit.
an LLC and we created the
It took me a
design
minute.
together, I guess we're gonna go to legal battles here.
You better figure out what pejorative means, motherfucker.
You have your lawyer call mine.
Article 61, agreement on trade-related aspects of the intellectual property rights.
Right?
You lost him at intellectual.
Okay, so
It's
all
a-
I need is for you to pay me off on
That's what I'm talking about,
intellectual
motherfucker.
property
United States versus Lamakia, and it's called the Lamakian loophole, which is because there's no profit.
rights. There you go.
As
Yeah.
long as there's no profit involved.
If I give you some
Alright.
money, does that mean that you have some legal obligation here?
As long as we're not an LLC.
Right. But if
I
someone
don't know.
was kind enough
Let's
to
give-
By the way,
donate,
my niece's initials are
Let's-
LLC.
Let's give that a
Probably
shot and see what
not.
happens.
Okay.
Well, since I already have a lawyer, do you want his name? I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
That's a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, I don't think family law works with
Well,
With
I
this
mean, y'all are
particular
technically
issue.
family.
For now.
I guess we technically are.
All right. How's your stream? How's your stream going?
Well, he's sucking at PUBG. I already know
Great.
that.
It's great. I got
It's great. You got 4 viewers.
Fortnite for life.
yeah,
it's all right. We're at 3 right now.
4 viewers. It looks like y'all are about the same.
Yeah.
It might be all
Hey, we
four of
were
us.
at our max. We were at 7. That's a new
Hey.
record actually for us. 7 is the
That's
new
a good
high.
day.
It is.
Good
Only
day.
7 people were listening to us shoot the breeze.
At
Yep.
the max, it fluctuates. So it's more than 7, but 7 at its highest current view.
That's
All
more
right,
than
man.
most people listen to me.
Well, you take care, and we're gonna sign off here.
All right.
Love you, Stu.
All right. Hey,
Bitch.
check out the
Fortnite.
Pirate Ship Gaming at www.
Shameless.
Wait,
No,
wait,
dude.
hold on. Troy Baker has something to say. I think this is directed towards Clay. Had to share a cabin with him, and it was an endless barrage of Chuck Norris jokes. Is that,
That is true. Yeah. And
You
the
wanna
whole
tell us
film-
one?
Yeah. Which one do you want to hear?
Whatever you want. What's
Okay.
the best?
Endless barrage of Chuck Norris jokes and butt stuff.
Oh, butt
Hey,
stuff.
we're not going to get on the butt stuff. Okay, so Chuck Norris's daughter lost her virginity. He got it back.
What?
Chuck Norris can slam